Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to talk to you again about the most urgent matter, the Digital Identity Bill. Now, you remember, those of you who are old enough, that in the late 80s they tried to introduce something called the Australia Card, and it was resoundingly rejected. The Greens like to take credit for defeating that bill, and as a matter of fact, so if you're still a fan of the Greens, by all means, contact your local Greens member or group if they don't have a local member and get them on it. Although, after what the Greens have just done in Victoria, backing Dan's total dictatorship takeover, wresting the emergency powers from the Chief Health Officer's role to his own, to complete discretion of the Premier. And even if you're a fan of Dan and his party, imagine if they lose the election and the Liberal Party that you don't like got in and had those kind of powers, those kind of levers to pull over people's lives. They can call snap lockdowns. They can identify classes of people, whether they be minorities or conscientious objectors, or anything they like. They can declare you a class of person and put you under special lockdown and even detention. So that's a big worry. On top of that, we have the digital identity bill that's quietly gone through the first and second phase of consultation, and public consultation closes today at 5 p.m. So you have very little time left. If you have any time at all, read through the paperwork and fill out the form and voice your objections. This is real big brother stuff, guys. In this digital age, the lazy tyranny of the digital age, all they have to do is, like good old Edward Snowden pointed out with the prison program, they just get a copy of everything you do. Everything you do. Wherever you go, anytime you spend money, government will be right there with you. Okay, you couple that with the other big three bills that have gone through on the quiet. The Identify and Disrupt bill, where the police can impersonate you and alter anything you have said on social media to suit their needs, whatever needs they might be, under the guise of anti-terrorism type activities. They can now use this against anyone they like. Don't like the premier in the state you're in big trouble. They can make you look like a terrorist. They could say you've said things you haven't said and disappear you. What else have we got? We've got the Biosecurity Act, which is the means by which Dan's new powers would allow him to identify classes of people, whatever that means, who can be detained indefinitely on the grounds of biosecurity. So if you have the sniffles, you could be finding yourself in a camp. And that's no joke. None of these things are a joke, I'm afraid. It's all become very, very serious. There are camps being built now that won't even be completed for a number of years, when the average lifespan of a pandemic tends to be 2 years, which means we're coming to the end of that period. Of course, we've exacerbated the situation with our overreaction, and with vaccinating during the pandemic, we've actually created antibody dependent escape, I believe is what ADE stands for. You're supposed to let these things run their course first and then vaccinate, so you don't drive up mutations in the general population when there's such a wide outbreak. We're giving the virus opportunities to adapt the same way rats adapt to a poison, or insects adapt to a poison, or your immune system fails to adapt to a pathogen. And so antibiotics get introduced on a massive scale and creates this very similar type of problem there, antibiotic resistance. So we're doing all the wrong things, and government's doing all it can to make sure they have the ability to keep doing the wrong things in the future. So back to my original point, you have until 5 p.m. today to voice your objections to the digital ID bill. If you have time, speak to your local member, whatever stripe, whatever political party they happen to be. This is something that should concern all Australians greatly. And just because we've got a SARS outbreak does not mean we should be sacrificing all of our civil liberties. But you know what they say, those in power, never let a crisis go to waste. So get on it, folks. I'll put the link in the description. Thanks for your time, and thank you for your efforts.